today's class, we're going to go super, super fast because there's a lot of content I want to cover. But you'll get a copy of those handouts. So don't worry about, I want you guys to feel, I want you to emotionally engage in this today, knowing that you're going to have all of the work given to you by Friday, no later than Monday, to actually do the work. Because what we're going to talk about really is not a decision that you make right away. It's going to take some reflection and some thinking. So we'll go through it quickly. I want you guys to be taking notes on what you're thinking and feeling emotionally. And then when you get the homework, I would, before you leave today, I would pencil some time on your calendar next week that you're actually going to do the work after you have what you need from us to do it. We're going to talk about branding, and I want you guys to know and understand that you are your brand. So that's why I don't want you to rush through this. And it really might even take in some asking some questions. Tansy just brought up something I hadn't really thought about in a long time. I could ask you guys what you feel my brand is, like what my brand makes you feel like and what you think of when you think of me. And it is likely going to be something different than what I have in my head, which means that I may not be on target with what my branding is. So after today, you might even have some of those questions that you're going to ask other people, not necessarily people in your office. Maybe ask people that are just friends and family, people that will give you some honest answers that don't know necessarily what you do for a living, because the people that you're branding yourself for, they don't know either. So I wouldn't be asking people in your immediate circle, go outside of your immediate circle and ask these questions to really know whether or not you're on point. After I went through this presentation, I was really asking a lot of questions of myself, and I really think I'm going to do some pausing and reflecting myself on what is it that I'm doing. Am I doing too much? Am I confusing people with what I'm doing because I'm transitioning? So you guys might be thinking that way. If you're brand new to the business, this is a really good class to take because you can get really firm about what you want your to make sure that your message really matches your heart, which is really important. I mean, branding needs to come from the heart because that's who you are on a daily basis. So just know, take good notes, feel it today. You don't have to know it today, just feel it today. And then know that you'll get the content Friday or Monday. We try to send it out on Friday, but sometimes it takes a little bit longer to download the YouTube and get it edited and back over to you guys. How many of you guys, though, are really watching the playbacks? I mean, are the YouTube videos, I need to look at the views and see if they're even helpful. Are y'all using the YouTube videos to go back to? Okay. All right. Because we will be at the end of this series in a couple of weeks, and I want to make sure that what we do next series is really based on what you guys really want and need. Two announcements before we get started, and then we're going to jump in this quickly, is we have Blues and Barbecue in our backyard. I'm spraying for mosquitoes today, so they should not carry us away. It's going to be a beautiful evening tomorrow. So each year, this started off as our grand opening. We had a grand opening 11 years ago with all three of the chambers. And I've always thought that if you want people to show up, you need live music and some drinks. And so it started off as just barbecue and blues music. It went over really well, so we've done it every year since then. So Oliver White is always our entertainer. So Oliver White will be there singing to us. He sings from the soul, so he's just really fun to watch. And barbecue sandwiches are from the same place every single year. It's Hickory, it's not Hickory House, Hickory whatever in Bonham. And Deborah will tell you, she's in Bonham. So we'll have our barbecue sandwiches, chips, cookies, just a plain Jane, good old time in the backyard. And you're welcome to bring your family. So you can come by on your way home from work, or have your family meet you there. It starts at 5:30. We'll finish at 7:30, clean up and go home. So it's just a fun time to just relax together. But before that is the tree pack bake sale. And we need you to attend. We've got really low attendance this year. A lot of people are out of town, and then we've got folks sick. So please show up. If you have not already signed up, get that done. Lindsay you've got a link in your emails. So go back to that link and sign up and let Lindsay know that you're coming. And then bring your money and bid on some goodies. And you can bring the goodies to the Blues and Barbecue, and we'll just all share. All right. Anybody else have anything else that they need to announce? Any broker opens or anything going on? How's the tours for the broker opens going? You guys loving that? All right, you guys, I mean, we are each other's support system. So we have these broker opens. The counties have all been divided up. Show up for each other. You can't sell something you don't know about. And just like in that appraisal class that we had a couple of weeks ago, you guys being in and out of these houses, you never know when one of these houses might be a comp for one of yours, and you know something about it because you've been through it, that the appraiser may or may not. Because remember, appraisers are just taking pictures from the outside for the comps. So show up for each other, support each other. And this is your inventory. You need to know what your inventory is if you're going to sell it. So I am so excited that you guys have got that coordinated, that the association is supporting you guys in your business. And now it's y'all's turn to support each other. All right. So let's talk about one more thing. The solar class last week. Did y'all learn a lot? It's a lot of information. Does anybody have any questions from that class that they thought of afterwards? All right, well, that means that they did a great job. Good. It is really important. That's a lot of information. So if you're showing or listing a house that has solar panels, just call us. We'll send you the checklist again and talk you through that. But now you know what you didn't know before. That's going to save buyers and sellers money and you a lot of heartache. So
I was surprised how far-reaching the tentacles of a solar panel are.
Yeah, a house with a solar panel, it affects every aspect of the transaction. The financial side, the title side, the inspection side, the insurance side, the appraisal side, could affect the survey side. I mean, it affects every aspect of the transaction.
I didn't even think about the survey if you put them on the ground.
If you put them on the ground, are you sitting on top of an easement? No, it affects every aspect of a transaction. So do not blow off solar panels.
And the seller's mindset as well, because we have several who think that they just automatically add value.
Right. Yes. And you guys, when you're doing your CMAs, being able to explain that to a seller, hey, I know you think that this solar panel adds X number of dollars to the value, but let me explain why it doesn't based on the information you just told me. You don't own them. How can we give you value for something you don't own?
In fact, that may be an impediment to getting.
It could be an impediment to getting the house sold because you got to have a buyer that's willing to take a lease or that even wants them. Yes, or even qualified. And we've had several transactions where the buyers didn't qualify with the solar panels and the seller didn't have the money to pay them off.
Is there any way of looking at that differently between loan products?
No. Well, kind of,
Like
sort of.
FHA versus mortgage?
It kind of, sort of, and that would be a good exploration. There are some loan programs available where you can take the energy efficiency costs and roll them into the loan amount, but that's pre-owned. So I don't know what it would require in order to qualify for that to be rolled in versus new. I mean, that's another area that we need to explore. So just know when to hit a pause button, and when you see solar panels, hit a pause and do the work. Make the calls and do your research, because it's not just an automatic easy deal. I love I love the concept, and it makes sense in a lot of scenarios, but as far as the transaction is concerned, it could impact that transaction in a big way, in an expensive way. So, all right. For you guys on Zoom, do you guys have any questions? Hang on, I lost you guys. Just a moment. I mean, I didn't lose you guys. I just lost you on screen. All right, I'm going to share screen and we're going to hop into this branding. Marketing, you guys know that's like my playtime. I can't draw a stick figure, but I mean, my creative outlook is the branding side of things. I don't want this version. Hang on. So this is one of my favorite subjects whenever we get to talk about this stuff. I mean, I like loan programs because I feel like I know what I'm talking about, but this is the stuff that really energizes me. So I am excited that this is part of our conversation. Really important for you guys to all understand, who is your brand? You are your brand. Your face, your personality, who you are is your brand. You guys are all tied to a broker, but your broker is not your brand. Now, I do firmly believe that it's very important that your broker align with your brand, because the brand is who you are. That's your core values that really matter. And your broker really needs to align with those core values, because their logo with your face does become part of the branding elements, and it does matter. So for any of you guys that are new to the business, and several of you guys, I talked to y'all prior to broker selections, and that was my one piece of advice, is talk to the different brokers and make sure that the broker aligns with your core values, because it shows up. It shows up in all you do. So what we're going to cover today is discovering your brand DNA. I'm going to even give you guys a link that you can go to that will help you understand your brand archetype. So it's going to be really good homework for you guys to click on that link, take the quiz, and really better understand, based on your value system, what is your brand archetype. And then winning the attention war. It is very noisy out there, very noisy. And so how do you stand out in the crowd? And then how do you build trust and connection with your ideal clients? And every one of you guys, I'm looking at every one of you guys in the room. I'm looking at all of you guys on Zoom. Every one of you have your own specific personalities, and you attract different clients. So you could be in a whole room of clients and you're not all going to be each other's cup of tea, and that's fine. That's great. Knowing who your ideal clients are is super important. And then 3 steps to increase your influence and grow your income, because it will happen naturally. People will be attracted to you whenever they are aligned with who you are. And then the brand case studies. I want to just show you guys some examples of people who are, I mean, you can tell their brand the moment you see. I mean, you know exactly who they are. And that's when it was like, aha, for me, man, I need to just really dial it in a little bit better. And you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. So Americans, the personal brand, it's the individual who is well known, that people like. Can you guys think of some people right now who do branding really well in our community? Community being real estate, or community in our community? What about them makes them well known? I mean, why, Preston, you're shaking your head. What about them? What do you think it is? Consistency of showing up. Is it the authenticity too? Can you feel it?
For the most part,
Yeah.
Well, I want to show you, ultimately, the majority of Americans consider a personal brand as someone who is simply recognizable, and that's it. So how many of you guys feel conscious about putting your face on everything? Don't, because BJ has told me for years and years and years, and you guys, I'm stubborn. Sometimes you got to tell me 100 times, and then it's got to be my idea. BJ will vouch. And eventually, if you tell me enough, it is my idea, because it's in my head so many times. But it took me forever to realize my face and my name is my brand. It's not a fancy little gimmick. It's not a fancy little word or a icon or any of that. It's our face and our names. And people connect with us through our eyes and our heart, right? So there's some really great pictures that I see, but am not seeing their eyes. And so I can't connect with them at the heart level because I'm not seeing the eyes or the windows to the heart, right? So be thinking about when and what pictures are you using for your branding. Do you need better headshots so people can see the windows to your heart?
Yes.
All right, write that down. Yeah.
I don't know who to get to think of.
I can give you some names. I mean, there's quite a few. Yeah. But the benefit of the personal brand is 63% of people will buy from people based on personal brand. 51% seek advice from them, and then 49% refer people. How many of you guys have ever referred somebody you've never even done business with, but because you see their heart and their heart and their passion for the business? So some people may not even do business with you. Maybe they've owned their home for the last 10 years and they really mean it whenever they say, this is my forever home. But they still refer you business because they believe in you. So the branding itself, yes, I said that branding is all about you. You are your brand. But let me tell you what's really important is you, through your brand, have to know who your ideal client is and what problems they have that you can solve. So once you know who it is you want to serve, who is your ideal client, and what problem can you solve for them? And that's why you could be in a room of 100 people with 50 real estate agents, and there's somebody for somebody, because we all have unique skill sets and we all want to serve in different ways. What problems do people have right now? I cannot tell you how many people we talk to on a weekly basis. We get just as many referrals now as we always have. We don't have contracts to reflect those referrals. Why? Why are people not even showing up to open houses? Why are people not even calling to go look at houses? They're freaking scared to death. Y'all, I hardly ever listen or watch the news by choice. But the other day I had to get on, I got on the computer and I was Googling something. So I was just on the regular browser. The news stories that were flashing in front of me, there were like 3 or 4 news stories right in a row that was doom and gloom on the real estate business or the financial sector. No wonder our freaking people are scared. They don't know if the sky is really falling. And so what problems do people have? Well, fear, doubt, and uncertainty. Confidence is a problem. They don't know. If I buy a house right now, is it going to drop in value because my dad said it will?
Excuse me, Michelle.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm on Zoom, obviously, but I see the screen behind you changing, but my screen hasn't changed. I'm on the You Are the Brand. I don't know if everybody else on Zoom is doing the same, or it's just me.
I bet it's not just you. So
Yeah,
I
I couldn't see the slides either.
You guys would think I'm a rookie at this then. All right, let's try this again. And I think it's the format in which I had to use when I edited these slides. Oops. So let me see if I can fix this.
Thank you.
I'm glad you spoke up. All right. Let me try. I'm going to put it on the screen that we are now and then see if it advances correctly. All right, if I flip. Nope, now I got to move this little guy. Did it flip?
Yes, and I've got a kind, I'll call it a split screen. One of side is the big picture of first time
Okay, so
buyers.
you're seeing okay, that's what I was trying to avoid, that I thought maybe, okay, I'm going to try it this way and see if this moves with me.
Okay, now it's full screen.
And it's moving.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
So
cool.
far, so good.
All right, cool. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
Confusion. So the confidence, the buyer confidence, the seller confidence is down right now, right? Confusion. What does the process even look like? And then location, which area best suits my needs? I mean, just think about the problems that the people that you wish to serve, what might they have? And that's something, when you get these slides, you can go through and start writing this stuff down. But you've got a couple of days to be thinking about it. And whenever you have conversations, be thinking about, open up that notes section in your phone, because this is going to be a reflection time. This is not something that you do in 24 hours to put together. All right. So what problems do you solve? You know, if you're talking to first time home buyers, their problems, their questions, their concerns, their fears are going to be different. Empty nesters, divorced couples, relocating. Can you imagine? I used to move around a lot as a kid. I mean, my parents, I think, just really wanted to challenge me with being the new kid in every class for my entire school years. And so, but looking back on that, how many times my mom had to deal with figuring out school system, what church are we going to go to? How do you transfer utilities? And where do you even go for all this? And I mean, like, all of the work that is required whenever you're relocating to a different city or state, that's a whole nother level of questions, problems, concerns. So based on who you wish to serve, what problems, how do you solve those problems? Well, you've got a choice. I mean, you're going to solve them through education. Are you going to provide guidance? Are you going to create a process and a plan that here's checklists for you that I put together in an ebook? Here's charts so you can see what the roadmap looks like. Are you just going to be a person that has the resources for everybody and point people in the right directions for everything that they need? So once you know exactly how it is that you want to serve, who you want to serve, and what their problems are, then you're going to come up with your brand positioning statement. Like, what is it about you that makes you unique and different? Again, this slide's going to be in there to help you formulate that after you do that discovery. So who are you? When you get this slide, there's plenty of room on here. So really go find a quiet place for you to print these slides out and really start asking yourself, who am I? What makes you unique? Here's some things to be thinking about whenever you think about, who am I? What's your style? What's your personality? What's your value system? And if you're not sure on that, I have another worksheet I can give you that really helps you drill down on what really truly is your core values. Because that matters whenever you're trying to put branding together. It'll also help you with the wording that you want to use with your branding message. Whenever I give that core values exercise, I like to really have you guys break it down. I mean, it's a whole page full of words. Really feel into those words and what words really, because some of them will be real similar. But what really resonates with you at the heart level? When you read those words, what do you feel inside? And try to get that whole page full of words down to 5 to 7 words. Because you can build a brand around your core values using those words. What are your beliefs? Those belief systems matter, and we're all different. Here's a guy, and I'm going to show you guys some examples of people that are being boldly themselves. Like when I see that guy, I mean, what feelings do you have? Preston, what do you think when you see that guy? If he were representing you on a transaction, what do you feel like he would be? Huh?
Yeah, it's loud, boisterous.
Charismatic. But I mean, he says he's a pit bull of personal development. But I mean, if he was, so my point is, huh?
I think he looks scary.
He looks scary. Yes. You can't see his eyes. What does he hide? My point is, to some people, this might resonate with them. To others, they wouldn't call him. So guess what? He's not for everybody. And he's okay with it. And that's my point. You don't have to be like everybody else. The people that resonate with you will find you just through your brand and your visuals. So this art, right, you guys all write this down. This kputnam.com. And it's KAYEP as in Paul, UTN as in Nancy, A as in Apple, M as in Mary.com. Yeah, here it is. KAYEPUTNAM.com. You guys are going to get it on the slide, but I want you guys to already have this information before you get the slides. And really figure out what is your brand archetype. You will get you will get put into her drip campaign and marketing, but it's got some really good information to help you guys really discover some of the words that describe you. I took it and I'm under the magician. I'm a visionary. I see the bigger picture. I see the future, and I like to paint that image for people of what could be. But every one of you guys will be in your own category, and then it'll drill it down further, more specifically. It gives you the colors that you should be using, the fonts that you should be using, or not should, I'll say could be using, the visuals that you could be using. I mean, it's really a cool way for you guys to kind of start working on your own brand kit. You take that information and you take the color codes, and if you have a Canva account, you can go put all of that into Canva, and then all of your branding is built out based on your specific archetype to start doing your own branding based on you and your personality. All right, so right now we got a, it's hard. It's hard to stand out in the crowd. You've got the unknowns over here. You guys have great information, but it's not getting delivered. People don't know who you are, so they're not listening to what you have to say because you got that whole wall of noise. And right now the media is super noisy. If we're gonna break through, we have to be known. For people to listen to us, for people to hear me say, listen, I know the news is saying this one thing, but there are some great opportunities out there. And this is what I'm seeing in the market. And all of you folks over here that are sitting on the sideline and don't want to buy a house right now because you're scared of what the rates are going to be standing in line with all of those folks that are also waiting. And in this area, are you going to wait till everybody gets here and is scrambling for the same houses because we have how many people move into this area? Timing is everything. And right now, if you're putting it off, you could cost yourself so much money. And my message is always also to people that you got to live somewhere. So what are you paying where you're at now? And would you rather get a better deal on what you're wanting right now so that every single month you're paying into the equity of that home now versus getting in line and fighting over the same houses whenever you're ready to get off the sidelines? Like, I mean, but for people to hear that message, they have to be willing to listen. They have to feel like they know who I am, because it's still a know, like, and trust. So if they don't know you, why would they trust you? then they decide at that point whether they like me and want to do business. So getting through that noise is really important. So, some of the, and this is whenever I was going through this presentation and really thinking about it, for me personally, the one thing that I think is a detriment for me is how many platforms I'm on. It dilutes the message. I have too many different messages because I'm on different platforms, and some people see all of those messages. Some people may see, you know, one from one platform and not the other, and you don't have the consistency. So the lack of consistency, Preston said, no clear messaging, and too many platforms can be why people aren't hearing what you have to say. And it matters. So that's why I'm saying you guys are going to have to just take, I mean, if you're serious about branding yourself, uniquely you're going to want to schedule some time to go through this like it is a workbook, because you're going to need to focus. But it's also going to require consistent focus on your behalf. You can't just come up with a fancy, here's my value system, and here's my colors, and here's my fonts, and do it really well for about 3 or 4 weeks, and then get busy with the holidays and the business and life in general and stop. Because you can't break through that wall of noise without consistency and focus. So whatever it is that you create and come up with that you're going to wrap your brand around, you need to put it on a calendar and work it just like you do every other part of your business. You got to be working your database. You got to be working on social engagement. You got to be networking. You got to be working on your brand. You got to be working on your business and still have a life. But it requires requires focus to be consistent on all of that. So don't willy-nilly this. So here's I'm flipping through these pages just for the sake of time, because I want to get to some really good stuff. So when you become known and you build a reputation based on what it is that you're passionate about and how you want to serve, and you're very specific about your ideal client, the problems they have, and the solutions you have for them, and then you're consistent and you're focused with that messaging, you will attract the people that you want to work with. It will happen. So you could spend a bunch of money buying leads, or you could spend more time being you and attracting those people to you through consistency and focus. So how do you build trust and connection with your ideal client? It's all about the content. People are desperate for understanding right now what's going on and what that means for them. One of the girls in my office just recently bought a house, and she's in the business. She knows and understands the process. She also hears and reads reports and sees that it's going to be okay. We are just settling into a normal market, but she still had questions and fears and concerns. And she would turn to those in the office. Fortunately, we're all in the business, but she's asking us questions just like your clients ask their coworkers. Are their coworkers the experts? Are their coworkers, I mean, are their family members the experts?
I think they are.
That's it.
He's the inspector.
Mm-hmm. So if we're not that person that they're trusting, if we're not emotionally connecting with people, if we're not working with people who are attracted to us because they believe in us, they're going to ask people outside of us. They're going to ask their sphere of influence, and they may or may not get accurate information. So it is really important that we provide our brand around how we want to guide, how we want to educate, how we want to empower people to make smart financial decisions right now in a market full of noise. So content creation, statistically, it matters. People are paying attention to the content you're providing. That was the other thing that I was thinking too. I provide a lot of mindset positive stuff so you could feel good about making your decision not to buy a house, because I empowered you to think for yourself. But knowing what I know, y'all, I've been in this for 25 years. I'm third generation real estate investor. I know the value and I know the importance of investing in real estate. I believe in real estate as a great investment tool. Am I sharing that message with others, or am I just pumping them up and making them feel good about the day? Another self-reflection for myself, and you guys might be thinking the same thing. Right now, in a world where people need solid information, the content we create, that's how people see us. I want people to see, I really want to empower people to know and understand that they are, I mean, all of the things that I share, I believe in my heart. But is that helping you in your business? Is it helping me in my business right now when people need information? Because my content matters. So be thinking about that, because statistically people are paying attention to what we're saying. So here's some case studies. Here's some examples of some education and guidance. And again, you guys are going to get copies so you can look these people up yourself. Y'all can't see it right now, but you can look and see. You can just look up this lady. Check out what she's doing, not just on this page, but the other things that she's doing. I don't know. But look at this, even down at the bottom, schedule a home strategy call. And it's a link that I guarantee will go to like a Calendly link so people can schedule their own time with her. Here's another example. Here's a real estate agent who's building their business right now. Leslie is building a business around divorce real estate. That's a whole nother a business opportunity. But you better know, you better know all the ins and outs of divorce. And you better be okay with showing up if you had to defend a value that you stated for one side or the other. But how cool would that be if that really is something you're passionate about? And maybe it's divorce in general. Maybe it's divorce and just helping women through that. And then you get tied up with some of the divorce support groups that are in this area. What about widower services? I mean, if you've ever lost a spouse, you know all of the things that you had to go through to even get bank accounts switched over and bills that were in their name and not yours and all of that stuff. Could you build a business around that? If you've gone through it, can you emotionally connect with people in that way? Yes. So then whatever it is, I mean, everything that she does, Leslie does, her website matches her social on all of the medium, all of the platforms. She's put together an ebook so people can download. If anybody is ever looking to write a book and they want an easy way to write a book, use BJ, I'll give you the link. BJ, include the link for Jarvis. Because if you have an idea, this particular website will help you write the words for a book, and it also searches the internet from an SEO standpoint to make sure that all of the information that you're providing is also helping point people to you. It's pretty cool. But then she's also, very specific. She serves the Chicago area, so she's solving some problems by putting these blog articles on her website. If you don't want to go to those extremes, there are services that will help you build out some of this stuff. But she is all in with what she's doing. Now, this guy, I mean, if you're looking for someone fun to do business with, I mean, the first time you look at him, you're like, he looks like he has a good time. And if you look at a little bit closer, there's consistency in the solutions that he's solving. But look how consistent his coloring is. You've got his face on everything instead of more of that professional look. I'll tell you in just a second. Instead of more of the professional look, he's going for the poppy, fun colors, fun. I mean, his Instagram, whatchamacallits are all color coordinated. He's from New Jersey. Hang on one second, I'll show you his name. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember what his name is. But just look him up on Instagram as JFK Living. This guy. Now, what's unique about, I mean, you still got that professional look on the banner. And look, all of his headlines, he's just taken the news and he's turning the news headlines into something that he's digesting for the average person to know and understand. So go ahead and take the news headlines and then interpret them for people. But there's consistency in how the look is. It's his face. And he even has some of these little funny faces here. He's, you know. But you know exactly what he's about when you see his stuff. And you know, he says new videos weekly. This one right here, I mean, this lady's mixing up data, which remember, you guys can use Keeping Current Matters or just ask me. I've got a subscription to them. So if you guys are looking for charts or articles on certain subjects, I can go and look for it and pull it for you and send it. But she's just highlighting the market reports like we always get. And if you guys don't know how to do some of this stuff, ask me, because I've got tutorials on just about all of this, where you have the green screen. It's on Instagram. You just get, you know, take a picture on your phone and just green screen it, highlight it all out. But then she's also got the fun facts on donuts. So she's got the business and the fun mixture. But every one of them, you can see their personality and what they're doing. And just don't, you know, we can say, we can tell people all day long, but showing them. And again, I mean, here's Keeping Current Matters. If you're talking to people about their personal wealth growing, you could talk about that all day long. You can talk about their personal wealth growing, but here's a chart that shows them. And how it'll continue growing. Whenever you show charts like this and you reference, they may have seen something different on the news, or daddy may have told them something different, but now they've got something to show dad. You got this now in their minds visually. So the green screen and being able to show people these stats and numbers, if you're going to be providing that information, is really important. Resources, there's so many resources available. And for some folks, it's just all about providing your service, the service that you want to provide is being resourceful. I like being resourceful, which is why I always offer websites to you guys. Websites and charts and classes and all of that, because I'm a resourceful person. I want to connect y'all with what you need to do what it is that you want to do in life and business. If that's you too, then you're going to build your brand around providing a source. Maybe you're putting together if you like providing sources, maybe you put together a book for all of your clients of all of the services that they might need for their home and people that they can call. Contractors right now, it's really hard to get people to show up. But what if you have a connection, or what if you have a relationship? Hey, I'm going to send some referrals to you. And when they call you saying they were referred by me, I need you to take care of them with this level of service. And if you can do that, then I'll send referrals to you. I mean, if resources and being that person is important to you, put together a whole business around that. So here's just some examples in there for that. Testimonies. 62% of Americans say having testimonies is the most important factor when deciding who to purchase from. Taking a picture of you at the closing table is not a testimony. That's a brag. It's great that you're at the closing table, but why does it matter to me? Why do I care? If you're going to do that, share the story, share the struggle. Carly, you did a great job the other day of posting it. You posted a picture at the closing table, but we talked about how long you worked with them to find a home, reminding people that it's not just, I'm going to go buy a house this weekend and you find a home, write a contract, and you're moving in 2 weeks. 16 months. I remember that. And so that's, I mean, that tells me a lot about who you are as a real estate agent. So just posting a picture going, hey, we're celebrating closing today. Who cares? That's your job. Why does it matter? Why do I care that you're at the closing table? What was the struggle and what problem did you solve to get there? If you're going to do that, or just wait and post the testimony with the picture of the family standing in front of their home, or the seller who, you know, has been trying to sell this house forever and has gone through 4 agents, and you're the one that finally helped them work through all of the struggles of the foundation that needed to be fixed and the plumbing that was broke, you know, then that's the reason the foundation needed to be fixed, but they didn't have the money to fix it, but they still needed to sell it. That's what, so testimonies matter. So if you're going to do those closing day postings, that's awesome, but why does it matter? Tie it to a testimony, because that's what people care about. They want to know, they want to hear from that customer the level of service. And you can do it in creative ways, or you can keep it simple, but testimonies matter. Deborah, you're brand new to the business, so you may or may not have a closing to post about, but that doesn't mean, it doesn't stop you from getting testimonies of the people that, I mean, I know you, and you've been talking to people and you've been educating them on real estate. You don't have to wait till a transaction is closed for you to get a testimony of how compassionate you were, or how you provided information that nobody else did, or you took the time to really understood what the struggle was. You don't have to wait for a closing to get a testimony. You could get a testimony from professionals that you work with. I mean, you guys giving me a testimony and putting it on my Google review that's not tied to a real estate transaction, that's just, you know, saying, I love that you have a heart for teaching, or whatever it is. I'm not asking for testimony, but I am kind of, sort of, that would be pretty cool. But that tells a lot about the character of the person. So you don't have to wait to a closing to ask for a testimony. You guys are all uniquely, passionately serving our community. People need to see that, especially right now where we have people moving in from all over the place that don't know who we are. But if you are going to share those client stories, which I think is really important, be creative with it. But why does it matter to me as a consumer? Why does that testimony, why does that client story matter? Make it matter to the consumer, your ideal client consumer, not just in general. Those Google reviews, those are so important. I'll do another class on Google reviews. You guys have got to be getting Google reviews. Y'all are in offices with multiple real estate agents. So out of an office of all of these agents, why should they call you? What makes you uniquely different? Those reviews matter. People are paying attention. And if you get a bad review, which it's going to happen, if you're asking for reviews, you're going to get some that aren't what you wanted or expected them to be, because people can just be hateful. If you're asking for reviews, those people are likely going to give you a good review. And the best thing you can do for a bad review is respond immediately, but don't react. I said respond immediately, and take the conversation offline. Don't defend yourself in a review response. I'm sorry you feel that way. I'd love to have looking back at my records, it doesn't look like we actually did a transaction together, but I hear what you're saying. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Please, reach out to me so we can talk about it. Whatever it is, just respond professionally. Don't react. Don't defend. Take the conversation offline. But the best thing you can do is have a bunch of good ones. I honestly, if I'm looking at a business and they've got 100 reviews and every one of them are 5-star, my first thought are, somebody purchased those reviews. Those aren't authentic, because we're not perfect. And we do have ex-husbands and ex-wives, or just, you know, people in general that just want to hurt us for the sake of hurting. I mean, I fortunately have good relationships with all my exes, but you know what I'm saying? So those reviews are really important to all of us and all of our business. It's part of our brand. So be asking for those reviews at the end of every one of your transactions, because they matter. And that's the part of the brand you may or may not have control over unless you take control by asking for the reviews. And you can turn those reviews into testimonies. So they can just be a one and done instead of asking them for a testimony and then asking for a review. Do you mind doing a review on Google that I can also use as a testimony for marketing so I can help more wonderful people just like you? Don't be scared to ask that question. Everybody in business, how many of you guys have purchased something recently and you get an email asking for a survey and a review? That's what professionals do. And you guys are professionals, so ask for them. We've got a few minutes to spare. That's a ton of information. Are y'all's wheels turning? Did this help? Don't use that QR code because that's not correct, I don't think, unless BJ updated it. I just want to remind you guys, just take off the face, get the camera. And I mean, for pictures, there are a lot of people that will do the professional lifestyle photos and headshots. But make sure you guys, your eyes, it's the window to your soul. It's how people see you at the heart level. So get up and don't you, I mean, I see a lot of pictures where you have the body shots on your thumbnails for your social or your business cards. I can't see who you are with a body shot. That's a great looking shot and it would look good on a postcard or good on a post. Those lifestyle photos are not meant to replace a headshot. They're great for marketing. And I firmly believe I use Canva because then I can go in there and I can put myself on the post so people see, even if I'm going to use a quote from, you know, Waldo Emerson, for example, I'll still want to put my picture on the corner somewhere on there. Or a lot of times if I did a post yesterday and I was just sitting on some rocks and looking out onto the water because that's like my favorite way of just being. And someone took that picture and they sent it to me and I was like, well, great. That's a great, you know, so just collect those pictures that you can use in your branding in different ways. It doesn't all have to be professional shots. And I'm telling you, a picture of you in a ball cap, your hair in a messy bun, or the no makeup look, it's still who you are. So you don't always have to be made up to be you. Be authentic because you are the brand. So thank you so much for being here today. Absolutely. Here's another guy. I'm so glad that this was in here. Look at this. I mean, seriously, look at this dude. You know exactly what he's about. Here's a couple of other just examples of folks that just to look at them, you can tell who they are. Again, as a reminder, you guys just be consistent with your posting because that matters most. Just as a heads up, and when you get yourself out there on social, engagement is really important if you're going to build your brand. In the Facebook world, oh, there was something else on this slide I wanted to be sure to show you guys. Hang on, let me go back to this. 20. Number one, go in there and mark your favorites that you're going to stay in touch with. So this really should change as your client list changes. So you want to stay engaged in their life, right? You want to know what's going on. You want to know what they're thinking and feeling. It's kind of cheating a little bit. But whoever you're working with closely, go mark them as your favorites on Facebook. Make sure that you're paying attention to what's going on in their life on Instagram. Stay engaged.
Thank you. I was like, what? do you mark them as? What
Oh,
does-
oh,
what does you speak of?
You can, okay, like, let's just say, let me go in here.
Do you do it from your phone or is it on the desktop version?
You can do it from your phone. So let's see, you can't do it on a business page. It has to be a personal person. Good job, Carla. Look at you being you. Look. Oh, never mind. Here I go again.
You're gonna tell me to do it, I'm gonna change it now.
Oh, you just did this?
Yeah.
All right, let me share the screen real quick and still not switching for you guys.
Carla G. Davis or Graham Davis.
Hey, is that not changing for you guys? Let me,
That was on my business page.
yeah, go to Carla Davis's business page and she just changed her picture to her.
Carla G. Davis.
Can you guys see it on Zoom? Do you see Facebook, Deborah? Okay, cool. I don't know why you guys aren't seeing it.
Will they see that? Do they know they're my favorite?
Nope, they will not.
Because that is a little.
Yeah. So if you guys go to, let's go to Kim Demo. All right, so you can just pick a, come over here because I can't remember how to do this.
If you click on their friends, the friend icon on their.
Okay,
profile pic,
so-
I can't find her profile, so.
So you go to the individual that you want to favorite and you pull up, you can't do it on their business page, you need to do it on personal. And you go click on the friends, see it? Oop, it's not on the big screen. And then just click them as a favorite. Okay. So if you've got clients that you're working with, mark them as a favorite and stay more in touch and engaged with these people. Their stuff, because I could post something and Tansy, you may not see it, right? A lot of times people aren't going to see your post,
Unless they're living on Facebook.
right? But you want to stay engaged with these people, these clients that you're working with. And I'd love to be on y'all's favorites. And I've got, I mean, I pay attention to what you guys are doing. That's why you hear from me and see from me on Facebook. So when you're marking them as favorites, then you're going to see their stuff. And then you can comment and stay in a relationship with them through Facebook. Now, so you want 20 people. So if you just get in the habit every day of saying, okay, first thing in the morning, I'm going to engage with 20 people on my newsfeed. Just go, you can do it through your favorites. And then you're also going to engage on 20 stories. So if I go over here, right here, and Jennifer Knott had posted buttercream board, why? Yes, thank you. I could just go in here and go, that looks yummy. All right, so now this message that I just typed is only going to be seen by her in her messenger. All right, now because I just did that, likely the next story I post or the next post I make would show up in her newsfeed, which helps you guys stay top of mind with these people that you're trying to have a relationship with. So each one of your people, you really, really, really should have them marked as your favorite so that your stuff stays in front of them and you continue a relationship with them. Does that make sense? Favorites are going to be done on the from your personal page to their personal page.
So which page of yours is actually favorites?
I would do my Michelle Castle one. Just plain old Michelle Castle. So,
That's a minor point.
yeah. So when you guys do build a brand out, just be sure that you're consistent with your messaging, consistent with your visual, remembering your name and your face is your brand, your content is going to deliver the message. Know your ideal client that you want to serve, what problems they have and how you solve their problems, and then post and engage consistently. And you will attract more of the business that you want instead of chasing business you may or may not. Does that make sense? All right, anybody on Zoom have any questions, comments, anything to add? Hi, oh my gosh. I so love my guild friends on this call too. Hey, Sandy. Caitlin. Kate. Oh, good. Thanks, Danny. Caitlin's from here. There's another Caitlin at Guild on the southeast side, but Danny, did you get all that?
Yes, I did. And it's very, very good content, and got some wheels turning.
Good. Good. I already told you need to be doing your stuff with your hat on it since you got a hat story.
That's true, and I don't blind people.
That's not why I said that though. I said that because you got a good hat story. And you know, that hat story ties to to me, it ties to integrity. There's so much that you could wrap into. It'll be interesting to see your brand archetype. I am happy to meet with any of you guys one-on-one once you have this content, you've done a little thinking work, you have your archetype. If you want to sit down and really try to figure out what to do with it next, what I'm going to be focusing on from an internal standpoint is keeping it simple. So that's how I want to change up my branding. But I say that because sometimes when you guys meet with me, I can overwhelm you because I have such an abundance of ideas. So if that happens, just go, hey, time out, simplify this for me. You will not hurt my feelings. It'll help keep me on track and set some boundaries for me as I'm working through trying to keep it simple myself. So, all right. Okay, well, I hope you guys have, yeah.
I must say that if you haven't sat down with Michelle, she is full of ideas, and with her heart of a teacher, she can help with just about anything you're struggling with. And I'm about time for another one, and I'll be booking one with her. But I did do my initial sit down. I was extremely nervous because whenever you start exploring yourself, and even though I've been around the block a few times, we can always get new ideas and new things that keeps us top of mind.
Yep. Yeah. And it's a favorite give back for me. So it fills me up whenever you guys do that. So if you don't know how to schedule with me, you just go to Calendly, CALENDLY.com and / Michelle Castle. And there's a lot of different scheduling options. So just pick an option. All right. Okay. Tree Pack bake sale tomorrow. Get your sugar fix. Support Tree Pack since Tree Pack does so much for us and our property owners. And then come celebrate. Bring your goodies to the party, and I'll help you eat it, unless you want to keep it to yourself. But Blues and Barbecue tomorrow night at 5:30. So, all right. The next couple of sessions we'll be doing more business planning and things like that. So as you're doing your reflections for your brand, next you guys will be shifting gear and doing reflections on your business plan. But really you need to look back for the last 60 to 90 days because the market's changed so much that if you're looking back 12 months or even looking back for the first of the year, it's not the same. So we're going to business plan based on the last really 60 days of conversions and activities. And but it's going to help you a lot to have the branding part done and knowing who you want to serve, what their problems are, what solutions you have to offer, because that's going to help you from a business planning standpoint. Because based on all of that, how are you going to make money? What are your expenses first? How much money do you need to make? And then we'll talk about the who after we talk about the how. All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.